Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago family. I want to welcome you to the LOZ Pro Code program tonight. And today we are fortunate to have Marissa Hoodoo, who is from what area are you from? Bamboo area, Maman?
I'm from Bamboo number two.
Bamboo number two, and she's part of the Community Response Deployment Team (TT), and it's something that I've been preaching for a long time. I'm just happy to find them. In that this is the kind of things we want to see being done in the various communities in Trinidad and Tobago. So, Marissa, I wanted you to take a minute and introduce those who are next to you, and then you could tell us about your team.
Okay, so we have Mitra Ramnath. He is the operation coordinator. And we also have Katian Gunraj. She is the chief coordinator. And we have more members, but they are not present tonight because it's 9 p.m. in Trinidad, so they are home with their families.
Right, that's understood. So, can you tell us a little bit about your team, how you got started, and what you guys been doing?
We are an NPO, so we are dedicated to restoring and rebuilding and strengthening communities across Trinidad and Tobago. And what we do is we focus on disaster response, environmental restoration, community cleanups, and the proactive solutions that prevent future devastations like floods, especially floods. And our mission is simple but powerful: to turn a crisis into coordinated action and long term protection for our people. In Bamboo, in the year 2018 and also 2022, I don't know if you all knew, our community experienced severe flooding due to the river overflow. Many families suffered loss and displacement, and that disaster was just a moment in time. It was a wake up call for us because I am from Bamboo too, and Katian, she's from Bamboo too as well, and Mitra, he's from Karani. So we all suffer that. And since that, we formed this team and we have committed ourselves not only cleaning but seeking a permanent solution to prevent such tragedies from happening again. Um, Today, we had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Dalchan regarding his prototype design. And after reviewing his system, we strongly believe that his design it presents a practical and a sustainable solution to the flooding issues caused by the river. And I think this system that he's designed has the potential to significantly reduce the risk of future disasters. So we really want to have Trinidad, I think, needs Mr. Dalshan to come down here with his solution and implement it, because I think it's the way forward and it's the solution.
So yeah, Marissa, thank you very much, and thanks for the call today. Right, I spoke to to this team, Gary. Samad, you also there in the background, Samad?
Yes, I'm here, Karen. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Okay, yeah. So this team contacted me today because
Okay.
they are from Bamboo number two, and I did my implementation under UNC government in 2013 and 2014 in Bamboo number three. Now there was a serious problem there, and the government of Trinidad and Tobago Drainage Division tried to solve that problem using the old conventional sluice gates and stuff, and it failed. And what happened? I was contacted, and I developed a solution, a unique design. It's intellectual property and it's registered with the Intellectual Property Office. And I implemented it there to mainly prevent the backflow from the St. Joseph River, from backflowing through that sluice gate into Bamboo number three, which is the lower part of Bamboo number three there around Northern Avenue, right? This used to be inundated whenever that river is flowing almost at full capacity. So I implemented that design there. It's very successful. It's very resilient. It's a viable design, climate resilient. And it's something, it's a typical, backflow is a typical problem all over the place, right? And it's a design I developed to safeguard the catchment. So I'm happy that this team contacted me. I know that there's many problems associated with drainage, and Ms. Budu, you could, if you want one of your team members there from the president from Bamboo number 3, he's well aware of my design. The gentleman I spoke to today, he could talk about it because he lives in Bamboo number 3 there, and give us a little briefing as to if it has flooded lately since after I implemented that design. So if he wants to say a few words, no problem. I know he's from Bamboo number 3.
Yes, well, Tyrone could not make it tonight, but we have Mr. Ramnath, who saw the system. He was with us today. He knows, he's fully aware. He saw your prototype today. So he's on. So he's going to speak about it and what you think about it, Mitra.
Hi, so good night, everyone. My name is Mitra Ramnath. I deal with all the operations for our organization, planning and executing. And we all have suffered some form or fashion of a disaster in forms of water. So mostly flash flooding, riverine flooding, that type of thing. We have been on embankments trying to preserve them from further collapse, from fissures opening, from sheet spillage, that type of thing. And our team, we have identified a lot of small flaws within the systems, the different systems and agencies and ministries that be. And one of our plans is to implement solutions to the problems, not only bring problems, but also solution that comes with those problems. We have been looking at the drainage in Bamboo for a while now, since 2022, 2018, and also the system of Mr. Lal Chan, which I have eyes on for a very long time now. And I've been hearing good things. And what we saw is a system that works. The problem with the system is lack of maintenance by the proper ministries and agencies that be. We have looked at over 1,200 feet of drainage today that has poor maintenance. And if maintained and restored properly, it will alleviate or at least help with the faster flow and runoff of water if the system is up and running properly together with the pump system that they already have in place. If both systems are tied in, then we can have a faster runoff. In the country of Trinidad and Tobago, I have seen over time that the drainage we have was for 40 years back. The things we have in place now exceeds what they put in place for 40 years ago. And it's very difficult to open these water courses because how people build houses and buildings. But systems that we can build and put in place, as such as Mr. Lalchan, is to help Dalchan is to help with the runoff of water. So instead of having water sitting in a community such as Bamboo number 2 for 7 days, it might stay a matter of hours in the community. So we help with that runoff. And these are things we are looking at. Some things we have no control over because global warming, things are just getting worse. We have been looking, and I like with the system that Mr. Dalchan did is the collection of the trash and moving the trash one side and keeping the water flowing so there is not a choke or a bottleneck to create that water pushing back. In a community that is
so there's two designs. There's two designs. One to prevent the backflow that used to spill through a sluice gate. And the other one you saw in that video, that's the trash trap to address the garbage problem. And I saw today via the FaceTime video, there's a lot of garbage and typically plastic waste. So the design is geared towards addressing that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that is good. And for a community that sits on the last 40 miles of the Caroni River, they should not have that type of flooding event so severely. It is just, it goes to show poor maintenance of what we already have, the infrastructure that is in place, because they sit maybe 5 miles from the mouth of the Caroni River and there's 40 miles coming down the road. So everything comes down here. So I believe that more attention needs to be paid into an area like this. So we won't have problems like that. In 2018, I also saw an aerial view of the Caroni swamp and the seamouth. Where it is, there was a bank of silt that you could stand on while the whole country was underwater.
Well, you know, in 2018, who was in government, right? So there was a lot of neglect, 10 years of neglect. And I just saw some data there from the energy, some energy data, and we have to discuss that, down the road. But again, look, maintenance is very, very important. It requires funding. The last government stifled a lot of the regional corporations with funding, and therefore we saw the neglect. We saw banks being eroded. We saw garbage not being disposed of on time, right? So all of this is going to change now with this new government. And as I said, I'm very grateful in 2013 and 2014 to be given the opportunity by UNC government to implement 2 of my industrial designs there in Bamboo number 3. So yes, so go ahead.
Yeah. So these are things that we need to, beside bringing awareness to communities and that type, that's also something we do. We bring awareness, we give some form of training, right, to the community. But it is really to get the powers that be to hear us and let us give solutions. As I say, we're not only looking to bring problems, but also solutions to the problems that we find. So
And that is a good point. So that is a good point. We have to identify the problems within the catchment, and we have to have viable solutions, cost-effective solutions, solutions that are climate resilient. And definitely, we are going to be meeting at the community center, as Ms. Buru mentioned, right? You bring members from Bamboo number 1, 2, and 3, and we have a big meeting there at some point, and we are going to be discussing problems and also solutions. So go ahead.
So that is something we are looking at. We are currently trying to map the main outflow from Bamboo and see the extent of the damage, because many portions of the drains have collapsed. So we are trying to map that and get that data. So when time that we have these meetings, we can bring that data and act on it.
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned drainage, because as I mentioned to you in the FaceTime call, I've developed a prototype. It's a self-scouring, self-cleaning drain to address garbage and silt. So when I get to Trinidad, we are going to start building the prototype and testing it. And we'll do a mock-up, and I'll invite you guys to look at it and see how it works. So there are solutions, and we are going to be working with the government to implement it. But yeah, go ahead. I want to hear that story of yours. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in 2022, so I am from the community of Caroni, and what I would have saw is a pile of plastic waste together with styrofoam and greenery that spanned for 40 feet by almost 100 feet. So that's almost like on one lot of land. And I can't give you an idea of the depth of it. But it was the plastic waste and these other materials was so thick in the Caroni River, I was able to walk onto it and stand while the river was at 95% capacity.
Wow.
Right? And I started, and this is where my passion stemmed from. I started picking up 1 bottle at a time and placing them in garbage bags and throwing them onto the bridge. And then I got my neighbors, I got my friends, and they tried as best. And at the end of it, we removed almost 5 tons of debris from that Caroni River that was choking and putting pressure on the already weakened banks of the river. So we were able to relieve the flow of water in a short space of time with no assistance from any ministry.
And this was in 2022?
2022.
Well, no one was getting any assistance out of the Caroni River, yeah, in 2022.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. So these are all things that
so I'm not surprised there.
I've been to many homes.
But hold on a second. But that is going to change, eh? That is going that has changed with this new government. Hope is on the way.
Amen.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
We welcome that.
And we welcome that. And we want to work closely with you making that change.
Well, I've committed myself And as you can see in Bamboo number 3, we had a serious problem there. A lot of poor people affected. They just look. We could look at flooding, right, and damage to material and stuff, but there's a human impact that very few see, right? And I've seen it firsthand, where people in little board shacks, relaying their stories, and it is one of the things that drives me to do what I do on a daily basis here, right? To bring these viable solutions. Because I'll tell you one thing, and your colleague mentioned it there: climate change is not slowing down anytime soon, and what we're dealing with here is only going to worsen. We are going to be experiencing more and more intense rainfall, 100-year, 1,000-year storms. And these are biblical storms that will take lives. And we have to prepare ourselves. We have to bring climate resilient designs and implement it, right? And fortify our communities. So that's why I am committed to working with the different communities. We started Bamboo number 3. We're going to expand to Bamboo number 1, Bamboo number 2, Valsine South, right? And throughout Trinidad and Tobago. And look, let me commend you guys for what you're doing here. The gentleman just mentioned 5 tons of garbage, right? Picking up garbage from a garbage patch, walking into a garbage patch in the Caroni River. Look, we often talk about tourism and beautifying the country, right? And how are we going to promote a country where, if a cruise ship is coming into our shore, our port, and they see a garbage patch or a pile of plastic waste, that is a bad first impression. I saw that firsthand in St. Lucia when I visited there to talk to the government and discuss flood mitigation, right? And I documented it, and I brought it to their attention. I said, hey, you have all these 4 or 5 cruise ships here coming in here, and a big pile of garbage just floating out into the bay in Castries there. That is not a good first impression. So we in Trinidad and Tobago, we have to think about tourism. We have to think about it seriously. We also have to think about climate change, because again, it is not slowing down anytime soon. So what we are going to be facing in terms of the impact is going to be devastating if we continue to embrace all conventional sluice gates and stuff, and we don't embrace climate viable designs that are effective and get towards solving the problems. But go ahead.
So, Ken, I'm going to jump in here for a minute. So I want the team to understand that we've been preaching a few things here on this platform for a number of years, for a few years here now. In fact, myself, I've been pushing an agenda of addressing the Caroni River on its whole, or these areas where we control the flow of water from up the hill, and where we
Correct.
create floodgates, we expand the holding capacity, water storage, where you would have larger size retention. We have discussed here, Ken, before you join us, with Dr. Ramrup, who was the former CEO of ODPM. You guys might know him, Stephen Ramrup. I'm hoping I
Yes.
can get him to join us tonight. So we have a team here with highly qualified people who has all the intentions of addressing these issues. But I want to be able to attempt to control the flow of water from uphill before it reaches down to the central area. So if we could set up the floodgates, we could widen the river, set up the holding capacity, or water storage and treatment, all these different things we have in our mind. It's just a matter of being able, the government has to now build new a flow of cash flow, where they are also, Dr. Munula's out there trying to revitalize our energy sector, to bring our economy back to where we can help our people. So while Dr. Munula is working with that, we also are trying to work with our Minister of Works, our local government minister, Mrs. Jolene John and Khadija, which will be in touch. We have them in a group where we share our messages and ideas and stuff like that. So these are things I want to give you guys an idea. First of all, I want to congratulate you. I'm so proud. I'm so happy to find people like this. I'm very impressed with the young man here, and I want to see more young people like this fully engaged in doing what they're doing. And these are the kind of things we've been trying to encourage through the local municipal government, where we get them to work with the communities. We have a community resilience agenda, which exactly what you guys are doing. Not only deal with the flooding, but train the community to respond, to assist someone that may get into an accident, may know the first aid, may know the necessary CPR and things that need. We also are fighting. I mean, our government, which we have discussed with Minister of Health, Lakram Budu, and Rishi Sicharan, Junior Minister, of outfitting the ambulance service to where it is fully equipped, where you would see that Dr. Ramup has, if you watch some of our programs, where Dr. Ramup explained about outfitting the communication from the ambulance to the emergency room, like how we have it in the US. You guys have traveled, you have seen how things are done overseas, where the communication is flowing from the ambulance to the hospital, so they already are ready for you when you get there. But also, our local community is trained to respond to assist those in need, because we have lost too many lives and we continue to lose lives because people are not trained to respond to assist anybody, and we have seen that all the time. Where they're begging for ambulance and it can't get there in time, or it may not get there. So I definitely want to say thank you guys for taking the time to connect with us, and let's continue this relationship. We will put you live anytime you need to go live on a location to show an issue, and we'll bring issues towards the government. We have our civil engineer here, and we also have Mr. Suman Singh, who is our technical analysis. Mr. Suman Singh is specialized in technology, AI, and all these different things. Singh, Suman, can you introduce yourself and give a little introduction so the people know who they're dealing with here?
Oh, thank you, Gary, and I'm very pleased, like yourself, to hear that this particular group is doing what they're doing, and that is very, very commendable. These are the type of groups you like to see as NGOs and so on, or CBOs, as the case may be, community-based organizations, or NGOs, as the case may be. But I'm wondering, are you all affiliated or liaise or work with any of the government ministries pertaining to flooding? I'm asking a question.
So I work at the Tudapuna Piapa Regional Corporation, and I recently made the move over to the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, where I work at the Disaster Management Coordinating Unit for the country.
Nice. I see your focus, or the group's focus, is on Bamboo, I guess, number 2, number 3, and the Caroni Riverine area. But are you all affiliated, or you have any sort of outreach programs with, let's say, the Sutherland?
So the group this is the beginning. This is the start. This is where we started. And we are trying to wrap up a couple of projects here before we move throughout the country. The goal is to move throughout the whole country and identify these issues and try to bring solutions to them and bring awareness to problems that people are not aware of.
Okay. When is your next stop, if I may ask you? What area?
Our next stop at the moment, well, we are now in Bamboo 2, we are in Bamboo 3, and we're in Bamboo 1. So we're looking at going to Caroni after. Would you like us to help assist? Where would you like us to be? Because we can make magic happen.
That's a good question. You all that be moving beyond the Caroni Bridge.
Yes, we want to head into south.
I know. I'm just kidding on that, but I know like Barrackpore, Woodland, Oropouche East, Oropouche West, and so on are just as critical areas. Is that just that they do not get the publicity as the people up north get? So the flooding is.
We will definitely head to Woodlands and Oropouche.
Oh no, Oropouche East and West.
Definitely, we will definitely, we can do that.
And for Barrackpore, the reason I'm saying that is that the situation is more or less the same, as what occurs in Bamboo number 2, 3, and 1. Water comes from the higher areas and then flows down, and the topography is similar. So let's say there's heavy rain in south. Barrackpore is the first area, is the highest area. So the flood starts in Barrackpore and then moves on to the lower reaches like Woodland, Timital, Oropouche West, Oropouche East, and Oropouche West, and then the outflow in the Cordero River. So I'm sure the methods or the systems you implement in Bamboo number 3, number 2, and so on will be similar because water always flow from high to low, no matter where in the world. It's from high regions to lower regions. So once you implement systems that can contain, or I would say slow down the outflow, that's one method. And another method is to increase the outflow now to the main rivers that to go out into the ocean.
Mhm.
The problem is the high tide. And Ken, we discussed this several times, but
Yes, yes.
the high tide, you see, well, every 12-hour cycle, there's a high and low tide, right? So within
Yes.
within a 24-hour period, you may have when the water is going down, reaches a base level, and then starts to come up. So you basically have a 6-hour flow, maybe a little longer
Well,
than that, where the water on one side is lower than the water on the other side. So you can basically free these sluice gates and so on, and have the water outflow from the high areas to the lower. Anyway, what I'm asking is that whatever measures you take and you implement, let's say in bamboo, in the area, bamboo and so on, could be similar, measures to adopt in the Southland as well. And
well,
Gary and I, we always spoke about containment ponds and lakes and what have you, and make these into recreation areas like little parks around where weekends kids can go and play fish and do little water sports, paddling and what have you. This serves a number of purposes, so that you can slow down the flow of the water, which is what we're trying to do. So
so,
please keep in mind that there are other areas as well where your services, providing you get the support from the communities as well as from various ministries or regional corporations, that your work can be very meaningful and lessons learned can be put in practice.
Well, Suman, I'm hoping, especially with this young man here, that he gets the young people his age to join in, where they will see some. They might be more interested in seeing a young person of their own age level,
Hmm.
involved. And so advertise as much as you can. We will help you with the stream on this end. But I want to invite you to meet with the Shogunas West MP, Dr. Gosain. Maybe if you guys are free this Thursday, he has a community outreach. If you guys can get down there, in down by the Sumaria area there. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I will link you with him, so you can meet with him there. And eventually I'm going to have Ken Dalshan and the team meet with Dr. Gosain in the Shogunas West area, because Shogunas is kind of like, we have a big project that we have designed that is going to resolve a combination of things with the traffic, the flooding, and there's quite a bit of things that is in tandem with what the government is saying about. I don't know if you have seen the government projected design, but I could always share that with you guys later on. But so we have quite a bit of things that we've been discussing, planning, and communicating with the government. So this helps to bring, connecting the dots is what is important here with people like yourself, and encouraging those to come on board. We definitely need the volunteers. We want to encourage, and it'll be something for the young people to do also, showing them how they can help their community, and instead of sitting home and being bored, they can make some new friends and stuff like that also.
Yeah.
Gary, we didn't hear from the lady in the middle there. Miss Kubraj. Sorry, the person in the
Katian
middle.
Gunraj.
Katian. Katian, we didn't hear
Katia,
your
maybe you can
story.
say a few things, introduce yourself a little bit.
Tell them we are first aid and we're looking for ambulance as well. Just tell them.
Good night.
Good night, yeah?
Yeah,
Good
I
night.
didn't hear the question too.
No, tell us a little bit about yourself. I heard you were a victim of flooding also. In what bamboo you live in? Bamboo number 3?
Bamboo 2.
Bamboo 2. Right. So you
Yes.
would have experienced the big flood there in 2022?
Yes, I did. I live on Nabi Street, which is prone for flooding.
Mhm.
And We need to do something to mitigate that because it's an ongoing thing. Year come, year go, same thing happens, but it's start to get worse now because we have never had such a massive flood like in 2022. That was the worst I've seen.
How much
So
water?
we
How much
all
feet
are
of
on
water?
board.
How much feet of water did you get in your house?
Well, my house is about 3 feet off the ground, and inside the house, I had like 3¼ inches on the inside.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
So-
telling
So,
you,
so we say
Practically
6 feet of
everything was
water,
lost.
6 feet of water roughly in that area. But
Yes.
you guys would notice that the Caroni River from the after the 2015 period was not clean, and a lot of debris
Yeah.
was in the Caroni River, and a lot of the flooding was caused because of negligence, not so much because of excessive water, but because of negligence, and the backfill of everything went straight back into the river. So I'm hoping that going forward, that when we clean the river, we don't leave the stuff right there to go back in the river with the next rainfall. I mean,
True.
so that we build some kind of embankment that prevents that. But I mean, we have a lot of ideas and suggestions. It's just a matter of the government getting the funding to carry it out in the way that we are thinking about, because we're looking at long-term strategies and structure where for instance, like how we talk about the water storage. If you travel to the US, you will see some very large lakes that people go to, and it's really a water storage facility, and you'll see people picnicking and doing different things. But little do you know that is actually a water storage there that they have. Like you travel to Florida or Texas or wherever, So so the ideas, again, like I said, we have is to control the flow from uphill, and we create those water breaks, and we also create that overflow, because if you know all the water run into the sea, and then you don't have water for the rest of the year for the dry season. You just had a major flood, and then the reservoir empty, because the things are not designed to flow into the reservoir. And they would, I mean, millions and dollars have been allocated to these ministries, and we don't get money for value. That's why a lot of us work hard to change government. Now we have a government here who has to start I mean, it's like they're not coming from ground level; they're coming from underground. So they have to work very hard in revitalizing the economy and the flow with our energy sector, which Dr. Mulilal is doing, and the various things. But we are on our part has to do whatever we can in working together with each other, connecting with each other, which I want to continue to build that team. So, like I said, we're very excited to connect with you guys, And
Okay.
I'm very proud of the young man there.
Question,
Yes.
Gary,
And
if I may ask.
go ahead, Samad.
You know, while I was there several years ago, it was said legally that all the surface water belongs to WASA. Can anyone tell me if that has been changed now?
No, that is still stands. All the water belongs
All
to
the
WASA.
water. So if you dig a well in your yard for your crop time, you just have a little garden to water it in the back. That water in the well belongs to WASA.
WASA.
So the
That
guy
is
was right to say, tell Wasa, come and pick up the water from me when the flood
Correct,
then.
because it does belong to WASA.
So Gary, you see what the problem is. Part of the problem is legislation to eliminate that piece of crap.
Yeah, because I mean, we see people taking water from the river to water their garden, and they was being arrested and charged. But
Yes.
the water goes right back into the ground and into the river. So that was a very foolish thing to do. Number one, but
So that has to be addressed big time. Big time means big time.
yeah, but Suman, beside that, we need those large scales holding facility and the water pumps to pump. Not only you're dealing with the design to navigate the flow of water, you need those large pump house functioning.
I know, I
right?
understand that, but the personal wells and so on that people may have built or constructed to ensure that they have a water supply, whether it's for agriculture or for personal uses. That should never be the asset of WASA. That has to be changed.
But
That's what I'm
this
talking about.
prehistoric colonial way of thinking is why we changed government. All of these things we presented to the prime minister, that we wanted a change from this prehistoric kind of oppressive ways. You know, so most of those legislation we're going to be communicating with our various MPs that we want things adjusted, and we need the people informed and on board so we can fix things to suit our people. We have to get, and I always say I like our people to recognize that they're citizens and not slaves or indentured laborers, because we seem to be trapped psychologically still where we're afraid, to address issues. And we strap in that mentality, don't make no trouble. But what I'm saying to you is I want to encourage you to be very outspoken and bring the issues forward. You are citizens of the country, speak like a citizen, know you're a citizen, and let's address the issues head on.
Next thing I like to go into the floor.
Suman, fix your mic.
Okay, the next thing I like to bring to the floor today is where
Your
Suman,
mic is still
hardly
messed
hear
up,
you.
Suman. Your mic is still messed up.
we come. Okay, better now?
Still muzzled, Suman.
Hello?
I
A
don't know
little
what's going on
muzzled.
with your mic. Yeah. So
But
Ken, maybe you can
yeah,
make a
but
talk
you
in
know,
return.
I spoke to the team today, and they did a video um call, and I saw some of the typical problems, Gary, and I'm building a prototype. It's a drainage section that once I get on the ground there, I'm going to use it as a mock-up design so people can come like this team here, and any one of the ministers, regional corporation chairs, etc., could come and see how this self-scouring drainage section works. Because the garbage is just, and the silt is just sitting in the drain there, and it's trapped with all of this vegetation, right? And it creates a plug, a constriction. And this is one of the problems among many which we have to address. Conveyance, right? Backflow, mass storage. We spoke about building check dams along the river to attenuate that flood wave. There's something called a flood wave, and we have to attenuate that. So it is not just one solution, but a combination of many solutions that we have to look at. And these are viable solutions, right? Because again, the intensity, rainfall intensity is only going to increase over time. As the ocean starts to get warmer and warmer, it's going to pump more moisture into the atmosphere. And when these systems pass over these warm waters, it's going to breed monster storms, right? And you guys are very familiar. 15 minutes and hopeless floods.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
you could go to
Yes.
Port of Spain and you get 3 feet of water, right? In 30 minutes.
Correct.
Okay, and I
And
All of that is because of how they poorly allowed infrastructure to build and not navigate things in the proper way. Everybody just stayed along with what they wanted to do, and there was never really proper supervision and how we go about these things. It was done helter skelter. So Suman, are you ready there?
go on, you ready?
yes,
Go
I
ahead.
Go
hear.
ahead.
Better now?
Yes,
Yes.
go ahead.
As a team, I would like to suggest to the members there that they start collecting some data-specific information as you go along, like the duration, the days of rainfall, the duration, how high the level of water has reached, and so on, because that is critical. That will give us a number of data to make decision planning and what have you. So that is critical, even though to the average person that may be just not a passing day or not a passing show, but it's really critical for us as planners, as strategic planning members,
Suman,
like
your
the
mic,
time
your
of the
mic, your
rain.
mic is still messing up. But this young man, I think he's on track with that data collection, right? What's your name again?
Mitra.
Mitra,
Mr.
right?
Mr. Ramnath, I think is his
Yeah,
name.
Ramnath. Yeah, Mitra
Right.
Ramnath. So I
But
think you should after we get off this program, you should maintain communication to advise him on that part. But I think he's on track with that data collection.
data collection throughout the cycle. I mean, it's not like a one-time event. Like the time of the day, the quantity, the amount of rainfall, how many inches, and so that if there's, let's say, we want to show like a correlation. There are 2 inches of rainfall in a 1 hour space of time. What happens downstream? Hey, you know what? That results in 1 foot of flooding or 1 foot of flood water. So you, like that, you want to, as a cause and effect sort of scenario, where you want to show the correlation, the time of day, and so on. So we can project in the night if something like that happens, what to expect in the morning,
Yeah.
6 o'clock when you open your door, your window, or whatever you have. You know, so these things are critical for planning.
That's right. So, Madan, let me ask one question there, to Mitra. Mitra, you guys have access to the rainfall data. There's gauges and stuff that are strategically placed, all around the country that collect rainfall data. Do you guys, that
Yeah.
regional corporation has access to that data? I believe this is the
Piarco, I
responsibility
think
of WASA.
Piarco, I
Yeah,
think has one. I'm
it's
not too sure, but
Yeah. Could you guys access that data, or you have access to it?
right. So that is access to the stream flow gauges that they have placed. Um, that monitors the river level and the amount of rainfall, and then we can access information also from the Met Office that gives you how many inches of rainfall that happen, and then we have the
right.
river levels, how fast the river rise, how long the water sits, that type of thing. I have access to that data.
That is very, very
You know, and one of
important.
the things I want to encourage him there, if you could get young people to help you with that as volunteers in their various community, so you can, that they could measure the rainfall and give you actual feedback beside collecting from them. And these are the things we want to kind of give young people engage into, that how they could help. For instance, just give you an idea how much rainfall you get in your area. By helping you measure these
For,
things.
for example,
Can,
the big flood in 2022. We would like to know how many inches of rain fell over what duration, right? And
what
then
was the river level up to? Because the river level is not such a good gauge because the river could have a lot of silting in it, and you may get the wrong reading. So that's
yeah,
has to be
more
considered.
accurate. More accurate is the amount of rain that fell over what duration, and then we have something called IDF curves, intensity, duration, frequency curves, where we
Correct.
could
Correct.
identify those storms, and we could say, hey, you know what? We had 5 inches of rain falling over a 3-hour period, right? And that
And
devastated.
it resulted
Correct.
2 feet flooding like that. So there's a correlation. That's what we want to develop models so that we can correlate. Doesn't matter now when the rain falls. It can fall at 8 o'clock in the night. We can tell people, forewarn people in the morning to expect this when they get up in the morning. And that is the predictive capacity of these models.
That's right. That's right. But I see the team doing a lot of good work there, and over the last 10 years, a lot of communities throughout Trinidad and Tobago have been neglected. Corporations have been starved of funding, right? And I'm happy to see that you guys took the initiative to not wait for anyone to say, hey, you know what? Let's wait for someone to clear a drain, but you took the initiative to go out there and not just address matters within your community, but outside of your community also. You included Bamboo Number 1. You have members from Bamboo Number 1, Bamboo Number 2, Bamboo Number 3, right? And you guys came together and you form a unit, right, to respond to disasters, because when that flash flooding occurred and 4 feet of water, right, that flood wave came and topped the bank there and breached the bank, and that water started to gush in there. You guys had to scramble and scamper about to safeguard your home and your loved ones and your documents and everything. I mean, I was there, and I saw watermarks, and I mean to say, I was like close to 4 feet in some areas, 5 feet. People could have drowned there. Imagine slipping and hitting your head on something, and all of a sudden you fall in that water. You're gonna drown. Right. So thank God there were no loss of life.
Kenny, not only that, the contamination and the day and age we live in, the contamination that comes into
Sewage
that
content,
water,
etc.
Right.
and that is a greater concern. You could get floodborne diseases, and so it's not like long ago we go and bathe in the river, and the river is just water running from the mud.
No.
I mean, you're getting all kind of things mixed with the river. So that's a great concern.
But remember,
And
there's a lot of farming, livestock farming, a lot of fecal matter and stuff there, right? So it's a health hazard also.
yeah. So and then what plans what you guys have structured in place that for rescue operations? What do you have in place so far? Kind of supplies? What do you have?
So one of the programs that all of us were trained in is something called Community Emergency Response Team.
Right.
For sure,
And,
That's
wonderful.
awesome.
That was done through the Ministry of Local Government.
correct. So I am actually one of the international instructors for that program,
Excellent.
right? So I train people in community emergency response. So our team is fully trained in that. They are also trained in first aid and CPR and AED. And I am also trained in vessel familiarization, sea survival, chronological writing, and the use and safety of pyrotechnics.
Okay, great, man.
Right? And
Wow,
one of our
excellent.
members, he also has his pre-C permit
And react.
and React. So we are also trained through React for radio communications. So we are
Wonderful.
well oriented in to responding to disasters and also mitigation.
Right. So we see a
So one
good
of our
role
mottos
there.
is recognize, respond, and recover.
We see a strong correlation
Yeah,
between disaster preparedness and your group, if I may ask.
yeah. Subad.
But he's also connected to the ministry, also
Yeah.
as
But Gary, also very important. The ministry in a major national disaster, the government don't have the capacity. This is why we need groups as such as this
no,
here
no, we
to
know
go out
that,
and
but what I'm
train.
saying is it is the team. Well, I mean a lot of things will come afterwards, depending on funding, right? But what we need to do in the meantime is to strengthen the team on the ground, like what these guys are doing. To
Definitely,
build,
definitely,
the community
and to
resilience.
continue to
That's what we're
train,
looking at.
to train.
Artists to various areas as well, Gary, not,
Yeah,
the southern, as well. So if it's
But
open, if
what
you
I
are,
want to do is I want to connect you guys with the team with various teams I have here in the U.S. So that what I shared this idea when Brett took place, and they were willing to come, but they just needed people to accommodate them. Some of these guys were willing to sleep anyway. If you guys could, house them and and feed them. They were willing to volunteer their time. But
Yeah.
so I would want to make that connection. I have a friend here out of Jersey City. He's in charge. He's charge of the Jersey City resilience team, and they're internationally how to say connected. So I want to get those guys to connect with you guys down in Trinidad. We have in the midst of a snowstorm right now anyway, and we have a lot of
present
plows
here.
and things going on. Yeah,
Lord,
yeah,
Okay.
so,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
So anyway,
We will,
yeah.
yeah, we'll definitely welcome them here, and we will house them and feed them.
That's so
Right.
and
So,
that,
nice. That's
so
so
I want to
nice.
make arrangement going forward that these guys who are volunteers, they will share ideas of how they got funding and things like that. And there could be agencies who are non-governmental can
Yes,
assist.
yes. Even with the
I want to
government,
help make that connection. These guys to share idea how they can connect with funding and what they can do, and different things like that. And Dr. Ramrup is actually the best person to advise on these things. But whatever little access I have, I will try to connect you guys with it. So I want to give you guys the opportunity to come back when you're doing programs to go live on this channel, and
well, Gary, we earmark and we schedule for a meeting with members of Bamboo number 1, 2, and 3 at the community center in Masburu. Is that Bamboo number 2?
Yes, it's bamboo number 3.
And I'm going to do a presentation on my design, and I'll do a site visit so they can see firsthand the design. And I'll explain to them how it works, and then I try to identify problems within the other catchments in Bamboo 1 and 2, and see how we can replicate the design, scale it up and scale it down to address these problems. So that is already planned, and I give my full commitment to this group to work with them to bring the engineering expertise and advice. And Sumad, also when we go to Woodland, we probably have them accompany us down there also.
Definitely, because we want to make it something national in scope, not
Yeah.
something national. So we are addressing the entire chain of flooding. Not
Well, we'll engage the MPs for those various constituencies. I mean, we're in direct contact
Definitely.
with Dr. Munilal and the various MPs.
Dr. Bodo, Kanku, these
Yes.
two
So
other
I
MPs.
have a disaster team WhatsApp group here that I would like to probably add you guys on there so we could exchange communication. So
Yes.
we will do that. But I
And
have all the MPs and a few councillors in there. Who's your various councillors? Let's get you name the councillors with various areas that you connected with.
Right now, we are connected to the MP, Miss Kadisha Amin,
Right. And who's the councillor?
and Seema
Oh, that's my good friend.
Augustine.
Right. Okay. And who's the other councillor for the other areas you guys connected with?
So I deal with Councillor Richard Rampasad,
Okay, I have his contact too. Right.
Councillor Pagu, Councillor
Okay. Well,
Seema,
you're talking to people exactly I know and deal with all the time.
right?
So
And I had some dealings with Dr. Colin Neil Bosine, doing some coordination for him with the last flooding event we had in Caroni last year. We had a problem with the embankment, so I was coordinating with him to get some equipment and stuff, and also with Minister Amin.
right. So if you have some time, just reconnect with him, Dr. Gosain, because he has an outreach on Thursday where he's meeting the community. So I don't know if anyone of you guys could head down there on Thursday.
We will definitely head down there. We will go as a team.
Okay, so I would get your number from but the young man
Yeah,
is already connected with Neil, so so we make that connection and get that going.
Yeah, we will definitely go down there on Thursday.
Yeah, let's build the central base, expand it, whether it's Caroni East, Caroni Central, or however, Shogunas West, Shogunas East, and then and Couva and them areas. And as we go by, we strengthen the base, and then we can move southbound, going in that direction. But yes, definitely we want to connect with those MPs and see how we can connect with those communities there.
Definitely, and we want our name to be, a household name, because as Mr. Gary was saying, where we actually we went a little further, because we know there's a problem with the, calling the ambulance services. So we actually looking to bring in an ambulance, so anybody can call us and we will respond in a timely manner.
Right. So you would have to kind of keep it down for certain jurisdiction like central area for now, because the amount of calls you might get, you want to restrict it there, and then eventually we could expand into other communities.
Yeah.
And central definitely need that kind of a service. So whoever, I would like to get Dr. Ramov on board to advise you with that ambulance, how to say acquisition and how and outfitting it. What is things like that, because he's very knowledgeable on the outfitting part of it. So definitely we will do that. So again, the channel is available. Whatever you guys are doing, that just give me a shout out and I will send a link and we go live.
Definitely.
Thank you. We really appreciate that.
Yeah,
and we're looking forward to facilitating the guys from the USA.
Yeah. Ms. Budu, one quick question with regards to the farmers. I mean, it's in your area down there, I know they do a lot of farming just at the lower end of Bamboo number 2. And even in Bamboo number 1, there's a lot of farming going on there also. So mitigating the flooding would also impact the farmers in a positive way.
Yes.
And I'm sure the farmers must have complained to you guys about the flooding.
They have been complaining to us since we started in October. We had a lot of farmers complaining to us. They come to us and we are just finding solution. And your system will definitely be number one and most spoken about system, because we looked at it and it's an awesome system that is going to work.
Certainly,
And
certainly.
the
And I look,
farmers, they will be here attending that meeting when you get to Trinidad.
yes, I look forward to that. And also, I would couple that with a site visit also, right? So yeah, so get all of them together. We have a platform here, as as Gary mentioned, right?
But
You guys
but
have a
Ken,
space
also
here.
listen to me. We don't have to wait until you get down there. Also, the channel is available.
Yeah, yeah.
Organize, get a lead person from each area, and I think I can hold about 6 people into the feed here. So we could have start some discussions,
Yeah. So
going
so
forward.
so yeah, that's good, Gary. So Ms. Budu, why don't you get some of the farmers, right? Because we like to hear the local stories, the people who have been impacted, the human impact, and get them here and let's hear their stories also. We could do a live, as Gary
Yes,
mentioned.
that's a problem. I will do that.
That's perfect. Definitely. We love to hear. You see, as I mentioned, flooding also there's a human impact.
Mhm.
And it's good to hear their side of the story, right? As your colleague mentioned, she had 3 feet of water in her home, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, so these are the motivating aspect of things that really drives us as engineers to come up with
Yeah.
viable solutions. So yeah, so that'll be great. That'll be a great live to go with the farmers in your community, in your area there, right? In all the
Yes.
bamboo 1, 2, and 3, right, who have been affected. And we'd like to hear what they have to say.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, I'll
I can
definitely.
like, for instance, if you have data on you on a scene or something, I can send you a link and you go live and show what's going on. We bring the issues right up and direct. So as long as you have data and you're ready to go live, we can do that. In a particular incident, but like Ken, I always say we can't have people working hard to produce until the ground and then flood waters come and wipe them out. That's not very encouraging.
Oh,
And
no,
one of the
no.
things
Yeah.
that we have been pushing here is mass food production in Trinidad and Tobago. And the government is very aware of that. Is it will take a little time for the government to get the infrastructure corrected as we would like to, but we've been pushing that idea, and all these ideas were shared with our current government. What we looking to do. But
Well,
I will continue. This team here will continue to fight for the things that our people need there, and definitely we want to make sure that the absolute necessary, especially with the infrastructure part, can be dealt with, and it's more feasible to address the issue than to come and then and do the recovery. It's always they always say the prevention is better than the cure,
that
right?
absolutely, that's correct. That's correct.
So
Can
we
I
gotta
may
prevent.
add? Can I may add
Go,
that
go ahead, Sumad.
let's say Mr. Ramnath is coordinating that meeting, right? But we want to try to get as much stakeholders at that sitting or that meeting, because remember the regional corporation, someone from that organization should more or less be there as well, if possible. Or someone from local government, per se, one of the councillors, and so on, because you can wants to address as wide as cross section of the stakeholders as possible, because everybody will have some way or the other be impacted. So by they being there on site, they can, that will be the key takeaway for them as well. So
Certainly, definitely, Sumad. And that's a
uh,
good point.
yes, you
You
want to
know,
have a wider cross section, widest cross section. One thing I need to ask, I don't know about it, but do we have a maintenance department? I know we have a drainage department in the Ministry of Works, but is there a maintenance department, or does maintenance fall under the drainage department? Anybody knows?
I didn't hear that question.
Okay, is there a maintenance department as part of the drainage department, like a sub unit of the
There
drainage
is
department?
supposed to be a maintenance department within drainage, and
Uh-huh.
also in the corporation, there's the public health department that deals
Right.
with
Yeah, I'm aware of that department, public health component. But
But there is
um,
supposed to be a department within drainage. I don't think it's a big team as the team in the corporation. It's a much
okay.
smaller team.
Now, is it possible using your contacts to have someone from that section be invited when Ken is doing his meeting?
I can try my best to get some
Right,
persons
right. Yeah,
because
I mean, all you need, as I'm saying, we need to have a the largest
Suman,
possible.
your mic. I don't know what's wrong with your mic. Yeah.
Are you hearing now better?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm hearing you better, Sumad.
Okay. Yeah, you need to have the widest cross section of the stakeholders there because Ken, we don't know how often we'll be down there at this particular time or any particular time, So
No, we'll be
as
trying to bring in as many as possible, right? From
correct,
various parts of the ministry.
that's the point.
And
That's the point. Yeah,
when we move, we knock, we cross our I's, dot our T's, one shot, so we're not wasting time, right?
correct.
Because remember, look, I could construct some of these designs in the middle of the rainy season. It's not a problem. I've done it already, right?
Mhm.
But again, we want to get it implemented as soon as possible so that the farmers can find some sort of relief. Remember, these guys are planting continuously, right? And they've been inundated. Some of them, you know, um, they're just waiting on a subsidy, right? And that's not the way to do business where you plant
Right.
your crops, you grow it, and then you get flooded and you wait on a government subsidy. That is not sustainable. So we have to end that cycle. But it requires all stakeholders to be a part of that conversation. From Ministry of Works and Transport, local government, and food production, because there's an overlap there when it comes to flooding.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I've given this team my commitment, right, to work with them, right, as an engineer and a expert in flood mitigation, right. Again, we are not dealing with conventional designs that you see every day. These designs that I've developed is intellectual property and is protected by the Intellectual Property Act. So it cannot be replicated or anyone can just use it. It is also designed in such a way that it can be scaled up or scaled down depending on the cross section. And when I mean cross section, the drainage cross section.
And of course, there is proven technology and very scalable.
Samara, I could hardly hear you.
I
Check your
said
mic, please.
it's very scalable.
Well, flooding is not just one particular problem. As Mr. Mitra Ramnath mentioned, the garbage patch that he was walking on the Caroni River, right? 40 feet wide by about 100 feet long, right? Of styrofoam and a lot of stuff mangled in there like a mat, right? So, but you're an expert in tourism. I mean, this is your forte. This is your area of specialty, right? And when you're promoting a country, you want to promote the good aspects of it. You want to talk about beautification. You want to talk about ecotourism and stuff. How could we talk about ecotourism when we have this type of garbage, plastic waste escaping into the environment, into the bird sanctuary, into these delicate ecosystems?
Now, how nice that is going to be when someone takes a boat trip from Nanans tours and
Well,
goes down
guys,
there.
listen to me. We all know that our people was cultured into bad habits, and the enforcement was never very forcible. And so education, is one will play a major role going forward. We start with the children. It's like how we see in the States here, they're talking about recycling and they start teaching the children about recycling and all these different things will play a role. So the community, exactly what these guys are gonna doing, this will fall under your forte there again. The education part of educating the people, going forward, and then the garbage pickup, which is something that's very essential. We need from the local government to be able to operate and be functioning where people doesn't have to be forced to dump their garbage in the wrong place. So the garbage pickup is something that's very essential. And I mean, going forward, we will see how much equipment we get based on funding, but the education of getting the people to do the right thing and not create unnecessary problems, is going to play a major role. And again, if you could get people to volunteer, to help you keep an eye where you see garbage being dumped in the wrong place that you address it. So these are things that we can do. We need as much volunteer as possible because we don't have the funding to pay for everything right now. So that is
And
very essential.
it builds stronger communities. Let us just look at crime.
Yeah,
When you
it's
have
something to do. It's like you build
when-
a connection.
correct. When you have a well-connected community there, right? Not just addressing emergencies, but also crime in the community. I mean, you guys could have your watch groups. If something happens there, you send a WhatsApp, hey, strange vehicle, we hear someone shouting or screaming, right? People could call 911 or sorry, call the
Look, hold
police,
on.
right? And you could alert. You could have you have that horn where you make that noise, air horn, right? So yeah, it's empowering the community. It's not just response, but I see it playing a very important role in the community. And if you could build that model, that gold standard, and we could inspire others throughout Trinidad and Tobago to do exactly what you're doing, we would have a better country.
Yeah, but that's part of the community resilience side of it, that
Correct,
we've been
correct.
pushing for all along, as well as Dr. Ramop. He was very, occurrent with that setup. Yes.
And this is what we need, more than ever with all of this crime happening there. I know, Bamboo is no stranger to crime, right? Um, and it's all over the country. There are people just drifting around looking for soft targets, right? Targeting
Well, I
businesses.
always say the more eyes we have is the better. So there could be
Correct.
never enough. So the first agenda is to deter. If we do things to help deter the criminal activity, all that falls in one. All this would fall under what you guys doing. I mean,
Yeah.
so whether it's the crime, whether it's assisting somebody in an emergency situation, the educational part. So just continue building the team. You have a broad range of things here that can fall under your portfolio. It's just a matter of
Yes.
getting the funding, getting the volunteer, getting the interest of the people. And I mean, like I said, this channel is available to assist you anytime you guys want to go live and broadcast what you're doing. I'll do everything to help you advertise. And we will link
And,
you.
and Gary, you want to bring them on the disaster group also?
Yeah, I'm gonna add them, and just send me all the numbers, and I'll add them to the disaster team.
Yeah, Ms. Budu, send me all the numbers there, and I'll forward it to Mr. Gary, and he'll add you to a group, all right? That's geared towards disaster response in TNT.
Yeah, so
And
we have
probably
we have the various ministers in there, and so you'll be all linked to them. So when there's an issue, you could also post it. What is an issue on the various ministers? The local Khadija is there, Wayne Sturge, Roger Alexander, and various
Jillian
ministers are
John,
there.
everybody's there.
So going forward, I'm going to just kind of restrict the group to only disaster-related issues, and I'm going to cut out the political part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate that.
So,
Well, keep up the good work.
so anything else you guys would like to add?
I would like to thank you very, very much. You all could be very well be the guinea pig in this all that could see a wild outreach for other communities. And I see you all have a clearly defined goal, and that's important. Then you can add other aspects to your main objectives as well. So called congrats. I'm deeply delighted that you all are on the stream road for development in TNT. Thank you all.
Well,
And
keep up the
Thank
good
you.
work. Keep up the
Thank
good
you.
work.
And we
And
are going to keep growing, and our name is going to be a household name where people can call when there's crime, when there's any sort of disasters.
Right,
We want to be the
correct.
one to be the first to respond in a
Mhm.
timely manner. So we want our name, Community Response Deployment TT, to
Yeah.
it's just about building back communities, building the love, getting solutions, finding the solutions, and we are so grateful for Mr. Ken Dalchan for sharing his solution with us, and we look forward to working with him. And also, we want to maintain the system when he implements it.
Right. Well,
certainly,
his thing is could be adjusted according to scale wherever is needed, whether it needs to expand or different things. So we're definitely going to have him on the ground there with you guys. And like I said, we
Yes.
have a lot of plans for other things. All will depend on funding and how much we can get to expand the holding capacity. We have shared a lot of things with the government, and so people will understand why they need to keep this government in place, because there's a lot of things planned for their own benefit going forward, and these things we will reveal. So we will keep in touch, and as soon as Kim give me these numbers, I will connect with you guys and to that disaster response group that we have. And any last things you guys would like to add before we go?
Well, I heard a little bit about tourism, and I will share with you all. I'm actually collecting some data right now on the studies of pui trees, because I went to Point Fortin a couple days week before, and that highway is beautiful. It misses some color.
Yes,
And
correct.
as in Japan, as they have the cherry blossom season, and persons travel
Yes,
to Japan to see the cherry
correct.
blossoms.
Correct.
For World Environment Day, I am looking in right now on how feasible it is to plant 4,000 pui trees along the Point Fortin Highway. So in pui season, you will have a range of color to drive and see and stop and
Lovely.
take pictures. And that will bring us back and bring one of the main pollinators and raise their numbers, bees and other pollinators, because we have a decline of bees throughout the world right now. So it is to bring back the pollinators, beautify the space, and even introduce that as a selling point to come to Trinidad in the pui season.
Well, we have a
Right.
tendency to attract international
That's
interest.
true. That's
So
true.
definitely run with it, and we will do
Listen,
everything to assist you. Mr. Suman Singh is the
listen,
tourism
listen,
specialist.
listen. You got me excited. 30 years ago, actually 40 years ago, I introduced that policy in Tobago. If you ever go in front or if you ever pass in Claude Noel Highway, which was being constructed, because I was the first economist in Tobago there, that we planted these pui trees along at the end of Canaan, right alongside what's known today as the Hilton Hotel, the Magdalena Grand.
Yeah.
You will see that pink pui, which is known as Apamat, alongside the highway right through, and alongside the entire or most of the Claude Noel Highway, you'll find trees, flowering trees, especially when you reach to Bishop's High School and so on. Nice flowering trees as you enter Scarborough. And as you drive along the highway, you will see those pui trees. Very, very beautiful at certain times of the year. And I use that a lot for my ecotourism strategy, because I'm a director of tourism in Tobago as well. So I can tell you that policy works very nice for the eco aspect. And for the general beautification, you drive along the highway, you see nice trees and so on. It gives you a nice feeling as you reach to work that day, that morning. So I am very conversant of what you are saying. But just know that I've done that 40 years ago. So it'd be nice if someone can replicate that. In Miami, I do see it often here as well. So let's see. Thanks for that idea. You jog my memory back, my friend.
So I just have to get the studies from UE on how feasible it is to introduce 4,000 trees of the same species into that area. And once I
But why
have
not
that
try
data,
to
I'll
why
be
not
able
try
to
to
act.
why not try to do it the different colors? Colors, always attract better.
You
Like
can
let's say
stagger the colors.
a mile with pink, a mile with the yellow pool, and whatever
So
varieties
that
they
is the
have.
idea.
Huh?
And those can act as mile markers.
And not only that, you can try to solicit sponsors for that. So let's say from La Brea to Point, that part of these trees planted by R. Singh and Company, or let them be the one to upkeep this for the duration and so on.
Yeah. We
So
actually Sir, we are now doing the bamboo entrance of bamboo 1. Then we are going to do bamboo. No, we are doing bamboo 2 at the moment. We are going to do 1 and 3, and we are going to plant. We are thinking of planting some pui trees at the entrance of the beginning of the communities. We are also going to be installing the signs. Welcome to Bamboo, welcome to South, welcome to Page, welcome to St. Augustine,
Right.
welcome to Piaco.
You could also
Lovely,
add at the
lovely.
bottom, maintained by so and so, like say, maintained by the village council, maintained by this company in the village, and what have you. So
Yes.
it's promotion and advertising for them as well.
Yes, yes. Would you, when we send our numbers to be added on the chat, is it possible that we can also share some of the videos of what we are doing?
Certainly,
Sure.
certainly.
Restoring the communities?
Certainly,
Yes,
certainly,
definitely.
Thank
certainly,
you.
most definitely.
Thank you.
Come back with that. I didn't hear that.
We didn't hear.
Oh, we would like to share some of our community videos and pictures of what we are doing at the moment in restoring the communities.
Yes.
Yeah. So send that to me, and also what I will do is I will upload it into the stream, into our channel here on the YouTube channel. So you send me what you have, and then I will upload it, and you can also share it on the disaster group. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for
Okay,
taking the
Miss
time to
Badu.
join us.
Thank
Mr.
you
Ramat,
so
thank you very much.
Thank you so
For
much
having us.
Have a
for
good
having
night.
us on.
Bye, guys. Thank you all.
Keep up the good
Mr.
work.
Suman Singh will also be directly in touch with you guys as soon as he hits back Trinidad.
Yes, and let us know what time you would like us there on Thursday to meet Mr. Gosain. We will definitely
Well,
be
he
there.
has an outreach on around 4 o'clock, and I'm doing a live stream with him supposedly. But in spot, I would like you guys to get down there and connect with him. So that you could get a first-hand look of what's happening in that area also.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can send his number when you add us.
Yeah. When we get upstream, so Ken just link me up with them, and I'll
Yeah,
make that
definitely.
arrangement. All right.
Certainly.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Have a
All
good
right,
night,
then.
guys. Thanks a
Good
lot.
night.
All right.
Have a good night.
I know.
Bye.
Yeah, somebody there?
Yes, Ken, I'm here. I'm here.
I saw a post with some energy data
Yes.
from 2015 to 2025.
Right.
But before I get into that, this group has been doing a wonderful job, community-based, and non-profit organization.
And
And
if you could get all these MPs to designate, the committees within their constituency, who are willing to be like the village councils and so on, to be part of something like this. They may not be a copycat of this, but something like this. If they would just focus on one or two aspects, let's say health for the elderly in their community, or things like that, to make everybody's lives a little easier, boy. Because the level of hardship in these coastal or far off reaches in the constituencies, we sit and we enjoy nice lives and so on, but we know people go through hell. I know, man. People go through hell in some of
a
these
lot of
areas.
people, a lot of people. Look at this girl from B Shop, what's her
Yeah,
name?
Fazia.
Fazia, right?
Yeah,
They're isolated. They're isolated there. Basically,
and
they don't have the infrastructure.
she has no help. She's here. She told me she went home 4 times last year. She can't get time off and in a hurry to go back. Her mother has died. Her sister has lupus. She has to go to come for treatment in Canada, and they give her no help to get a passport. The sister, that is, has to renew the passport because when the mother was sick, she couldn't take time off to go to Port of Spain to get her renewal and so on. And if you don't get this treatment, these things deteriorate. Your health deteriorates. So she's going through quite something, and we really don't know what people go through, man. We really don't know until they tell you. So you see, community resilience part of it, that is
It's
so
very, very
critical, man.
important. Very
Critical.
And
critical.
in spite of all of that, Fazia assists me with people in need.
Yeah,
Both
yeah.
both who are in the system. Both who are
She
in the
go,
system.
Yeah.
she goes out of her way. I know. She told me. So I
Yeah.
told her, you know what? Yeah, if you can make it this year, go and see your dad a little bit, because she is not. When the mother died, it couldn't go down, and that was
And
right around Christmas. Man, imagine Christmas, New Year, everybody having a good time, family around, and so on. And there's with you morning, and she's by herself here. It was difficult to her. She really thanked me for calling. I chatted with her whole half an hour trying to console her and, letting her know and so on. So she was very,
and
very happy about that.
and Samad, hearing her story, how her community is isolated.
Yeah,
One of the main
but
reasons why I wanted to connect that road from Central, right,
yes.
connecting Beach,
So
and bridging that
sort
gap,
of a north south kind of
east west.
concept.
Yeah,
East west?
because he says that it would take her hours to get to Port of Spain from where she lives there.
Yeah, she had
Now
to go
imagine an
Granby.
emergency, right?
Yeah,
So that inspired me to break that gap, or connect that community, you know, because they have been more or less isolated, right? And she said sometimes the local residents, when it rains, a tree would fall and block the road, and they have to cut it
that's
out
it.
and remove it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So a tree could cut you off from the rest of civilization. And what if there's an emergency, medical
My God,
emergency,
man.
right?
That's
So yeah, so that's why I connected that road from Londonville there going into eastwards, right? And I connected the local roads in Beach there. So at least to put them back on the map, because right now they're isolated, you know. So it's not just about trying to access Manzanilla, but it's trying to access these smaller communities who are part of the conversation, who are also citizens, who are paying taxes also, and who wants to have to be able to be treated, right? That they are part of Trinidad and they are not just invisible or isolated. But she did
yeah.
mention the beauty about the area also. She said some parts are untouched. It's so
Mm-hmm.
beautiful out there, right? And that inspired a connection there, that central connection, east-west central connection, right? We have the east-west corridor, right? Now we have the central east-west connection.
And pretty
So
soon, if they get up the speed, that'd be the highway from Sanda to Mayaro. So that will be another east-west connection.
correct. And once we start to expand these networks, we'll address traffic congestion, we'll spark development in areas that people never know existed in the
Correct,
map,
correct,
right?
correct,
We
correct.
will spark development, create employment in places that people never knew existed on the map, right?
Yes.
So it's very, very important when we plan and when we propose these infrastructure, right? These conceptual designs, it has to be thought out very carefully, right? We have to think about the impact also, the environmental impact also, and a whole string of things. But
Yes.
she inspired that connection there when I heard her story about having to leave from her house, and takes about 4 or 5 hours to get to Port of Spain, right? And God forbid there's a down tree or something there. Well, then they have to wait to remove it. Now
Mm.
think about a medical emergency. People could die, right? And if you think about it, from Central to where she lives, there's just only 20 minutes.
My
With,
But
God.
with, with that,
not also connecting the roads. What I'm hoping to get done is to bring the kind of medical facilities within the range of the community, so that people have a shorter distance to travel. I mean, but I know said that the local health center will be fully equipped to provide assistance, and then you get an ambulance from there if you need to move further on to either Sandy Grande or when Mayaro also needs a very good
Mention,
hospital down there instead of this
mention.
what they will call some little community thing. They're thinking acting like it's some kind of hospital, real hospital. They need an actual hospital down in Mayaro there, to accommodate the people there and being in the vicinity of the oil business and everything else down there. You
Absolutely, man.
you
Absolutely.
need a
That
proper
certainly.
emergency response system in that area. So Mayaro definitely needs something in that area there. I mean, Sangre Grande made some progress there, but the connection to go up to Sangre Grande is very difficult. So yes, definitely we're going to keep presenting the ideas, but again, everything depends on how much funding we can get for those ideas and approval. But we're going to definitely make that effort to produce the ideas. You know,
Certainly, certainly. And Gary, I'm glad you mentioned that with funding. Dr. Monilal is making a lot of inroads and a lot of headway, right? I
yes.
saw that video.
Yeah. Speaking of Dr. Munilal, I think let's see if I thought I uploaded it. Let me try. Yeah. So here, let's see here. So that's Dr. Munilal. Then let me just go back down. I think I uploaded. Let me just find that video.
I sent one to you, Gary, on his speech.
No, he said, he said to me the one where he met in Guyana.
Yeah,
Uh,
that one, his speech he gave
yeah, yeah.
to coordinate that Trinidad and Tobago was lapsing in the coordination with
Somehow that,
Suriname and Guyana.
yeah. Carry on. Let me try and see if I could upload it. I thought
Yeah,
I already did.
Yeah,
he drew a reference to that there was a lack of motivation on the PNM part to link TNT with Guyana and Suriname with respect to the oil industry and so on. But he said,
come on, let me just say something here, right?
uh,
The government, the previous government, the PNM government, let me be specific here, were in Venezuela, dancing the Congo line with a man who's in jail right now, right?
yeah,
Considered a narco terrorist, right? We haven't pumped 1 MMBTU of gas, right? And that same narco terrorist, Maduro, is threatening Guyana, right, to annex a large portion of it, right?
Essequibo region, the
And yeah,
Essequibo region.
how could Guyana or Suriname and in their good in mind and you know want to have any conversation with a PNM government who is seen as the enemy, who is dancing or is in bed with the enemy, who wants to
Correct.
take apart of their country, right? Think about it, break it down into simpler terms,
Yes,
right? Our government, the UNC, the Honorable Kamala Prasad, took a firm stand and said, no way that Venezuela is going to annex that huge portion of Guyana. And she drew the line right there, right? She didn't sugarcoat it or anything like this. She just said, no, that no way that happened. You touch us, you touch one, you touch all,
but you
right?
see what happened, Ken? People see that as race, People see that as a racial issue because I tell you, there were some commentators in Trinidad when she made that statement that because Ghana is this Indian, this is why the UNC is supporting that initiative. Because remember, at that time also, the whole damn Caribbean were against her.
So,
The
man,
whole, so,
the PNM could talk about race from now till next year as much as they want. At the end of the day, numbers and performance is what matters the most. Right now,
absolutely.
we need to cooperate, right? We need to form that committee, right? To have those discussions with Suriname, with Guyana and Trinidad and lead the Caribbean in terms of energy, right?
Absolutely. And I think
Mr.
that's going to happen very
Yes,
quickly.
definitely, definitely. Vikram Bharat, the energy minister, mentioned our infrastructure, right?
Hmm.
Some of it as mothball or operating under capacity, right?
Hmm.
And they've took notice of that, right? And they are going to work together to get that refinery up and running, which is a cash cow, which will help us a lot and revive our economy. So yeah. So look, again, at the end of the day, you and I, we like to talk about data. We want to let the data talk, right? We don't want to hear noise. We want to see the performance, right? And the government right now is doing so much. There's so much optimism driving in the near future. You know. So yeah. So I believe that the PNM was very very detrimental to the country as a whole, right?
Hmm.
I mean, look at the crime. Look at the energy statistics posted by former Energy Minister Kevin Randorine. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he tabulated that chart there, which is cited by various sources,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, if you look at that data, is horrendous. It's ridiculous. It shows a country that was failing, right? Not just in the energy sector, right? So again, we have to be very mindful of this. And if the people want to vote for more crime and to step back and uh, take steps backward, right? Then go and vote for the PNM, right?
What
If you guys want to step back in time, right?
yeah,
Or go back in ancient civilization with breadfruit and coal pot and
yeah,
bicycle and stuff, right?
exactly what
I
I was
mean, that
going to
is what
tell you.
they telling people that that is the kind of thing they want to embrace, the talk that they want to embrace. They're not forward thinking, right? And the data is there to reflect their performance. And this is what we got to talk about. This is the kind of conversations that we have to have, right? And not let them off the hook or give them a free lunch. No, 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 that's not going to happen.
Absolutely,
So
Ken. You're right
So
on.
yeah, that's why I always like to talk about 2024, the famous 2024, when the country saw blood flowing on the streets there with 624 murders, right? We've never seen these numbers since we gained independence, you know. And when we talk about the energy sector for the last 10 years, the numbers are there to reflect, right? The decline across the board.
Not decline, collapse, total
Collapse,
collapse.
correct? Yes, I stand corrected, collapse. Yeah. So thank the Lord that the government changed and the UNC is in power, and we are seeing a lot of renewed hope, a lot of optimism, right? And there's so much that we have achieved within this few months, not even a year, right? The
Uh,
achievement is astounding.
correct.
So
Absolutely correct.
um,
Uh,
we have to thank and congratulate Dr. Monilal also for a tremendous effort, right? That what he's doing there with all of the energy stakeholders. I think he's on his way. I believe he's on his way to Suriname, or he's probably there already, and they're having talks over there also,
yeah,
right?
next month. It's next month. That
Oh, next month.
is
Okay, all right.
scheduled
So
at
yeah,
next
so
month.
So I'm going
so
to load that
hopefully,
video for a second here, guys. Hold on a second, okay?
yeah. So guys,
Trinidad,
hopefully
more
he
so.
should have them
Trinidad
all.
has been in the oil and gas sector for probably over 100 years. So with that comes a lot of experience. It comes with a lot of infrastructure that's already built out, a lot of capacity that they will have in country. And that I believe is something that Guyana and Suriname could draw on from Trinidad, their experience, the capacity that they would have built over the years, having been in this industry over 100 years. So definitely in terms of collaboration, we'll have to look at capacity building, drawing from each other experience, which is very critical. I believe that is, and I like the idea that Dr. Monilal would have mooted of having us meet on a regular basis as energy ministers. Not only Guyana, Suriname, and Trinidad, but the wider CARICOM region, that we meet on a regular basis to look at possible areas of collaboration, how we can support each other, how we can get projects done at scale, working together. I think this is very critical and important. In terms of working with Trinidad, Dr. Monilal mentioned the refinery, which I believe is very critical and important for his country, and in terms of a turnaround in the sector, creating jobs and stimulating economic activities. So that is an area that we've already been engaging on with Trinidad and Tobago to look at the possibility of having that refinery restarted, to have investors play a part in that as well too, who are working with us in Guyana, that they too can work in Trinidad at the same time. And we have held several meetings together over the level yesterday, and we have a few more set up today so that we can look at ways in which we can forge that greater cooperation and collaboration. So I think the train is already in motion among us as sister CARICOM countries, but I like the idea of us reaching out more to the greater CARICOM community to seek greater collaboration.
Fabulous. Great answer. It absolutely seems.
Go ahead, gentlemen.
Yeah, I don't know if
So
you
on
all
that
saw.
last,
Yeah, I can elaborate on some things. I don't know if
go
you
ahead.
all saw the notion of the accelerator hub. You all saw that, Ken, or you all know about it?
So go ahead, elaborate.
The accelerated hub is a one-stop organization which Dr. Mulilal has formed or is in the process of forming. What that now comes, it basically to break the bottleneck. Like, let's say a firm comes on to explore, or we're going to do geosciences exploration, or fast, they want equipment and so on. This will be a hub geared specifically to the energy companies, and this will do breaking the bottleneck, so to speak, so that if your goods is stuck in customs and so on, that will be fast tracked. So what he says, through a system like this, he envisaged that when it's counted up, is like 160 million US dollars savings for the year that the country will, accrue. So that is nice, innovative, and forward thinking. And I always like to see something like this, because every day the oil companies are waiting for equipment to come and to be installed offshore is revenue lost for us. So through this accelerator hub, is what she calls it, is really an organ in the energy sector that will speed up approvals like CEC, environmental approvals. They're breaking the model on all aspects of getting equipment, getting approvals as fast as possible for the benefit of all. So that was an excellent, initiative I found in his speech.
That's very, very important in doing business, right? The
Yes,
ease of doing business.
and I
Ease of doing business.
wish the
And we all
same
know
thing.
in
I
Trinidad and
wish,
Tobago,
yeah,
in
I
the
can,
public sector, right?
yes,
Let's say you need to do get a passport, right? Or a birth paper. That is a whole day process, And imagine someone like Fazia have to leave Beach to go to Port of Spain to apply for a birth paper, right? That might take a day. She might have to go and spend book a Airbnb, a hotel in Port of Spain to actually spend the day or the night there, right?
correct.
So the ease of doing business, we have to look at this carefully and try to see how we could remove the red tape and the inefficiencies and so forth in the whole system, because it's saturated with that, right?
Yes,
Um,
but this one is specific to the oil industry. This ease of doing
Definitely, no,
business.
certainly
Yeah,
for
so
foreign companies, but also as a whole, that need to be expanded on
that's
because
that's big time. The Ministry of Investment and Trade and Tourism is the driving force behind that initiative. The ease of doing business falls under their portfolio. So I think Dr. Mulila saw it differently and decided to not break away from it, but really to make sure that when the opportunity comes knocking, we are ready, because you can't wait too long.
that's right. That's very, very important to facilitate
Oil
that route.
and gas is our bread and butter. We don't want to
Yes,
lock that into whatever is happening with the regular run-of-the-mill businesses and so on. This has to be fast-tracked, whether if somebody don't like it or I like it or you don't like it. No. This within 7 days or so, this thing has
you
to
got
be approved.
you got your approval for your CC and you're ready to move,
Right,
right?
and you got all those things hooking up in customs and so on, and this person not here today and blah blah blah, or it's
Yeah,
carnival and you can't get through. Not this kind of crap. This thing is out of
yeah.
the window.
That is
You know,
that is the way to
so
go.
you
And
have
that
to
again,
prioritize.
Sumad,
Yeah.
is
Uh-huh.
forward thinking. That is vision. That's forward thinking,
This is the
right?
point. This is the point.
So
Look,
again, you give him kudos for that,
yes,
right?
I
The
mean,
man is doing an excellent job.
not only that. I mean, this was Carnival weekend. Where did he decide to spend this Carnival?
He is trying to bring in revenue for the country, trying to build bridges, right?
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
and people will say, well, the PNM did this, PNM that. There's nothing to support what the PNM did. Where's the numbers? Where's the data? Right? It's only negative data we looking at there for the last 10 years.
That's what I said. The
You know,
data is
so
one
the
thing that
PNM should
doesn't
be
lie.
no part of no conversation. Again, it is all talk and fluff when it comes to the PNM. We need to see data. We need to see performance. Show me the numbers, right?
That's right.
Show me the numbers.
Absolutely,
You know.
man. Yes.
So we have to commend the government for a tremendous job that they've been doing from this get-go, right? Hit the ground running. Yes, there's a lot of work because there was a lot of carnage left over the last decade, right? Over the last 10 years under the PNM government, and we have a lot of work to do. And we are going to tackle it. We're not going to back down, right? And the achievements made so far is tremendous. It's historic.
Can my phone may knock me out at any point in time, so I'm down to one bar.
Okay. Well, let me close it up for tonight, and we'll pick it up again next day.
Yeah.
I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, guys.
Gary?
I expect you to do something tomorrow night, so we'll be in touch. I'll let you know.
So definitely.
All right. So
And I'll send those numbers to you, Gary.
yeah. So so I want to thank everyone for joining us, and we probably see you tomorrow night during the week.
All right,
Have a
man.
good
We have
night.
we
Good night,
have a
Samal.
couple things lined up, so we should be live.
Nice. Nice.
I'm expecting to join Dr. Gosain 4 o'clock on Thursday on his outreach there. So that's one of the things in the works. So
Also, you can set up with him. Can you need to have an appointment set up with that
yeah,
guy?
well, as
Dr.
soon as you could get down there,
Sure.
Suman, you're going to be there sooner. So I want you on the ground in direct contact with these people too.
Yeah.
Definitely. Sure.
Yeah, we'll do, Gary.
All right then. So good night,
All right, then,
everybody.
guys.
Thank you for
Have a
taking
good
the
night.
time.
Take care.
All
Have a
right.
good night. Bye.
Yeah, I'm in the midst of a big snowstorm here right now, guys.
Okay, Gary. Stay safe.
Hey, did you get the breeze this evening? Why it was so damn windy?
I went for a walk and decided to cool down.
Well,
Thank God I had a light jacket on.
you say
But
it's
anyhow, Gary, stay safe. I hope the power doesn't go out and stuff there.
Good night, everybody. We'll talk
Good
soon
night.
tomorrow.
Take care. Bye.
take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Bye.